On Friday, the other thing that got people super, super heated was the Carolina Panthers doing a blockbuster trade with the Chicago Bears, who are doubling down on Justin Fields. And they gave up a bunch of draft picks to move up to the 1 spot along with DJ Moore. DJ Moore is to make the Bears better now, giving Justin Fields an actual weapon. Meanwhile, the Carolina Panthers, the Panthers did not get fleeced. The Panthers did not lose the trade. The Bears did not win the trade because we don't know what the Panthers are going to do with the quarterback, right? We don't know how that quarterback is going to pan out. But I do think this is a fair criticism of the deal. The Carolina Panthers, Joe, paid a premium for the right to guess in a draft that is not viewed as one with a strong quarterback class. It's as simple as that for me.
I didn't realize it when we went through it initially and saw it. The second-round pick that they gave up is the primary asset they got for Christian McCaffrey.
Yes.
Now, there were other picks, including what is a valuable third-round pick. I'm not dismissing that. But if I told you, ESPN narrator voice,
what if I told you?
What if I told you an NFL team traded their number 1 receiver, their number 1 running back, and 2 first-round picks for the number 1 overall pick? That just seems exorbitant to me.
You paid that price for the right to guess.
It was a big price to me. Now, I want to give the Panthers credit for actually having a plan at quarterback because my primary criticism of them under Matt Rule was, you think you're just going to magically draft the next Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
That's a great strategy. Awesome. So I'll give this group credit that they want to get a rookie quarterback. They want unmolded clay, right? Because they could have gotten Lamar Jackson and hung on to DJ Moore.
He could have gone after Derek Carr.
Hung on to the second-round pick. But they wanted unmolded clay, and I'll give them. I will respect their coaching ability and their coaching track record.
Quick bit of news.
To want the unmolded clay.
Quick bit of news, too, about your unmolded clay part. Jimmy Garoppolo looks like he's going to be going to the Raiders. We got legal tampering time. We don't know what's going on Aaron Rodgers, but we know Derek Carr's with New Orleans, and it looks like Jimmy G is going to go to the Raiders.
And I understand not wanting Jimmy G. There's injury concerns there. And
that.
Derek Carr at 31, I would have taken Derek Carr, but maybe Derek Carr didn't want to go for them. You know, that was a free agent deal. That wasn't a trade. So I understand that from Derek Carr's perspective, and I understand he probably thought he was getting a better chance in New Orleans than he would be with the Panthers. And I get it, too. If you're the Panthers and you're Frank Reich and you're Josh McCown and you're sitting here going, hey, I feel like this is our strength. All right. Or you're Jim Caldwell. Okay, cool. But you're right. It's just a guess at this point of who of those quarterbacks who's going to be the right one. I would take CJ Stroud. That's who I would take.
I'm with you on that.
That's the quarterback I would take.
But
let me just try to. I'm going to try to. I know people hate it when I make it about me, but I'm just going to try to put this in a way for you to understand. The Panthers almost never do what I would do.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would take CJ Stroud. I would not count on them taking C.J. Stroud. Jonathan Jones, CBS, did a very smart thing at the Combine. He asked Frank Reich about, or Scott Furter, what type of quarterback would you like to have?
It was Frank Reich, too.
And the quarterback that they explained was Bryce Young. That was the one they explained to a T. So we'll see what they do. I personally think Bryce Young will not hold up in the NFL. I think he's too small to be the number 1 overall pick. But that's my personal opinion. I've heard Dan Orlovsky describe Bryce Young as a smaller version of Patrick Mahomes. Okay.
Because we all knew Patrick Mahomes was going to be Patrick Mahomes. That's the other thing. You say, when they were saying, we're going to go find ourselves the next Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs didn't even know what they had, given when they drafted him. So
and they took him 12th, right? So they traded up, and they took him with the 12th pick, and they knew what they had in Andy Reid. So again, if you're the Panthers and you believe in Frank Reich and you believe in Jim Caldwell and you believe in Josh McCown to develop a quarterback and you want to trade up and take one, again, that is their prerogative. And you're right, we won't know who wins the trade until the quarterback is 3 or 4, 5 years down the road. Because if they had to get the right quarterback, well, then I do believe in their defense. I do like their offensive line. I don't know who they're going to throw to now, but you can get receivers.
You can get receivers.
There are ways to get receivers in free agency in the draft, and that's fine. They've done it before.
Yeah.
Again, they can do it again. Personally, The move I would have done was gone for Lamar Jackson, held on to Moore, and some of the other assets. That's what I would have done.
The other thing I would add, too, about the Carolina Panthers and the overall number one pick, the last time they were in this situation was 2011, and they picked Cam Newton. Now, we know history. Cam Newton worked out, okay? He won an MVP. They got to a Super Bowl. After his injuries, it looked like he was going back into his MVP form until a fateful Thursday night when TJ Watt popped him in the shoulder, and he was never the same again, okay? But let's not retcon the 2011 draft as though it was a no-brainer for Cam Newton. Never forget the SI cover that featured Cam Newton, Blake Bortles, and who am I missing?
Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert, thank you. And the headline was, the most difficult decision in football. Like the whatever choice. Now we all laugh at that because two of those dudes never panned out. Cam Newton was, he burned bright and burned out quick, but he actually did something for the Carolina Panthers. So this idea that, well, we're absolutely sure with who it's going to be, hey man, it's anybody's guess. And this is where Adam Schefter comes into play, the NFL insider for ESPN, on either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, number one for the Carolina Panthers. Oh, okay. Well, I believe the computer is still processing that SI cover from 2011. Like the most difficult choice. What are you talking about?
But that goes to show you, though, there's three quarterbacks you just mentioned. And you're thinking, oh, man, if I just get him in the right system, if I just get him with the right coach, I can fix whoever.
So here's Schefter, ESPN, on either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, number one.
Everybody's trying to figure out exactly what Carolina do. Look, I think the pick will boil down to either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. If you look at Frank Reich's history, and you know well, he has preferred bigger quarterbacks. That would be the CJ Stroud model. There are people who believe that Bryce Young should be the number one overall pick, that he's a mini Patrick Mahomes. Well, we'll see if that is the direction they go. But clearly at this point in time, it seems to be a decision between Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, both in play for the number one overall pick. And as that one Panthers official just said to me, we've got 48 days to go through this.
Yeah, and Schefter loves every minute of it. So the idea is that the Panthers know who they're going to pick, right? I mean, that's why else would you move up to number one? I don't buy this draft day movie scenario where they moved up to number one. Now they control the draft, and maybe they sell that pick to Houston because they think Houston's really hell-bent on getting somebody. I'm not. That happened in a movie. I don't see this galaxy brain thing happening. But here's Jeremy Fowler on ESPN when he was asked the question, do the Panthers know who they're taking overall number one? That's why they made this move.
I'm sure in their heart of hearts they probably know, but as far as what they're portraying or what people are saying behind the scenes, no. I think with 47 days before the draft, my understanding is they have up to three quarterbacks in mind. It's of course Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, and then one wild card that could be Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. They really have no rush now. They just want to get in position to be able to do what they want, and they could back out into another spot. Like let's say fall in love with Will Levis, right? Then you can get him at 3 most likely. You could move back 2 spots. So there's stuff you could do to maneuver, and I think they wanted that flexibility.
So that to me just sounds like some smoke screens to get somebody interested in trying to move up. You don't make this move unless you're hell bent sure on the guy that you want to take. That's my read on this. You know who you want. That's why you gave up what you gave up. Not to try to outfox everybody in the NFL and overthink the situation.
Again, the Panthers finally have a plan at quarterback. I applaud the Panthers for having a plan at quarterback. I think they paid too much for the pick.
That's Joe Giglio.
All things can be true.